My plan as an employer, as a founder, is not to trap you guys in this company forever. I don't want you guys to stay here forever. My goal is to inspire you to go on to do your own things. And whether that clashes with EuCan or not, that doesn't matter to me. I get more value and I get more satisfaction from watching you grow. If we compete one day, you know what? I will be so proud of you. I will actually be so proud of you. Welcome to the Yes You Can podcast. In this podcast, we try to inspire your mindset to change from you can't to you can. So in this episode, we have a special guest. We have Heidy with us today. She is actually a new team member to the EuCan family. You want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, sure. I'm Heidy. So I was in the production for like 4 months. So basically, I come to EuCan and he was giving me a lot of opportunities to try a lot of stuff in choral, in which I never tried them any before. So this is really a good experience here.
So Heidy, you said 4 months just now, but actually, how long have you been in EuCan?
1 month or more, a little bit more. Yeah.
Just a month and a little bit more, right? So why don't you tell the audience what your background is?
So actually, I was in UST and doing biotechnology and business. So it's nothing about productions, or I do not have any knowledge or skills before. So it's basically because I really enjoy the point of doing things with my friends. So I tried to do some YouTube videos and some of my interviews of UST. And then at last, I was really into it, and I do really like the way we were doing things with my friends. So basically, I was trying to obtain for some success here. Yeah.
So you were saying you enjoyed filming with your friends and that's what got you into filmmaking. But that's such a big jump because you spent 4 years studying bio and business, and it's like within the past 4 months you just switched to filmmaking. What was the jump? Why? What was the reason that really compelled you into doing this?
Yeah, it's actually a very long process. When I was doing biotechnology business, I was very in doubt because I really don't like the way I learn things. It's not what I wanted or what I really would like to learn. Or doing in lab, maybe doing some droppings or like incubating some stuff. It's really not what I really want. So I was always thinking I was wasting time, and it's already been 4 years. I have already feel like I wasted 4 years, and I always ask myself what I really want. So actually, there's a period of time I was trying different opportunities. I tried digital marketing. I tried maybe some posters, making designs in Illustrator. And then at last, I feel like maybe video productions is what I really liked, because I did one interview with another director, and then I heard about him telling the story about how he did productions. And I really want to try this stuff. Yeah. So at last, I was opting for a jump from biotechnology and business to productions. Yeah.
Okay. So how did you find EuCan Productions?
EuCan Productions, because lead by Eugene, he was giving many people a lot of opportunities. It's regardless of what experience we actually had. I think this is really good because he was always trying to help us like young people to try to opt for what they really wanted, and he always asked us what you really want. I mean, why do you do this or why do you do that? And I think it actually changed my mindset of not only doing how I do productions, it's also my life. In my life, like I always had to question myself, because I was always in pressure. I had to answer questions from Eugene suddenly, and maybe he would ask, why are you doing this? And then I would, why I was doing that? Yeah, and I was in doubt of myself. So I think this is a process of growing. Like you try to ask yourself some questions that is really key to what you want. So you're not doing something you keep yourself doing something you really want. I think this is really important.
So it's almost like a life mentorship, right?
Yeah. I think it's not any internship or any other opportunities could give you this kind of experience. Yeah.
Oh, thanks for that. I didn't pay her to say this. Okay. She just said this. This is not scripted. This is
okay,
from
you
herself.
add the salary then.
Okay. So actually, How we found Heidy was we posted on the HKUSD job board, and I'm, as you know, also an HKUSD alum. So I posted on the job board hoping to find someone that's also from USD who's interested in filmmaking. And do you know how many people applied?
I don't know. I think you don't only put in HKUSD
Yes,
job
I
board,
applied.
right?
I put it elsewhere as well, but guess how many people applied from that HKUSD job board?
I think 3.
One.
Okay.
Do you know her name?
Me.
Yes,
It's me.
it's you. And then simultaneously, we had a LinkedIn ad. We had around 40, 50 applicants, so it was quite a large amount. It was a paid job ad as well. Do you know why we hired you?
It's because of the passion, I guess. Is it? I'm not sure. Am I capable of winning like for 30 to 40 competitors?
Yes, actually, it was your passion. I looked at your resume and I thought, okay, engineering. I also did engineering. I mean, sorry, not engineering. You did bio and I did engineering. Okay. HKUSD. Okay. And I looked at your portfolio. I thought they were okay. The colors were, it was okay. Your framing was okay. Everything was just okay. And actually, you applied, and I didn't reply your application for 2 weeks. I think 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't write back to you, and then suddenly I called you. I just called you. You had class, I think, and then from that conversation, and then you also dropped by the office sometime after. I felt your willingness to learn and your passion in this newly discovered area of passion of yours. And I thought, okay, this person has passion, is willing to learn. And that was very important to me for my team, because I think my team is a constantly growing team. If someone's coming in fully experienced but not willing to learn or adapt, that's a problem for me. And one thing that made you really stand out was you at least had some sort of vision. When I asked you, why do you want to do this? What do you want to do? How do you want to achieve this? A lot of the people that I talked to, they didn't have a clear sense of idea as to why they were doing this. They're just doing it because they're doing it. But you gave me a reason, and I think you've gotten even more clear with your reasoning. And I think that was why, one of the reasons why we hired you. You have that clarity, you have that passion, and the willingness to learn. So I knew that even if your portfolio wasn't the best, you can get better. You have the potential to get better, and that was very important. And the other people, they didn't have that. They might have a nice portfolio, but they didn't have that same drive, same passion, willingness to learn. And I don't think that's the type of people we're looking for. Did you know that?
I didn't know you. Did you interview more applicants?
Yes.
Okay. No, I didn't know that.
Actually-
I thought if I was, I thought not many people did try to apply for this job, and then at last it was me. And you also told me that it's because I was also in HUST, and you saw something very similar in you, in me. I mean, yeah. So I think this is what HUST gave me. I feel like this is one of the most important things. Yeah.
Wow. That's fantastic. Because actually, when you came to the office for the interview, right after you, someone else came in. And then right after that, someone else came in. So it was like that day was an interview day. So you were not the only one.
Okay.
But I think you met Sean that day. Did you meet Sean?
Yeah, I met Cheung.
On the interview day?
What did he say about me, right? Did he?
So I also value my team's opinion, right? So I asked Sean, what do you think of Heidy? What do you think of the other applicants? And he could hear your passion as well. He could hear the clarity in which you have. I think you said you were did you say you were worried about English?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried before I came.
Yes. So actually, a lot of the other interviewees had worse English than yours. It might be an accent. You might have an accent, but I think your English is perfectly understandable. And the great thing is, and I always ask you, if you don't know something, ask me. If you're uncertain about something, like in a script, if I need you to translate a script, if I need to work on a project with you, if you don't know, I always ask me, Heidy.
Yeah.
Because I cannot teach you if I don't know what your problem, what your question is, right? So you have that asking mentality, which is great. The one question you didn't ask me, if you did ask me, I would have given you the job on the spot. Do you know what that question would have been? So I asked you at the end of all interviews, I will ask the interviewee, what questions do you have for me? Do you have any questions at the end of the interviews? You didn't ask me anything else, I think.
Yeah, I think I asked a little bit about some like admin stuff of EuCan, I guess. But I think I keep on. I mean, even I have been in EuCan already. I also keep asking you a lot of different questions, no matter whether we are in lunch or in about your life. I feel like.
No, that's good. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, for all the interviewees, when I ask them, "Do you have a question?" at the end, they don't really give me a proper question. Here's one question: if you decide to apply for a job in the future, or if you do an interview or something in the future, the one question that if anyone asked, I think I would have hired them on the spot.
Can I guess?
Yeah, sure.
Like maybe about the long-term goal or
No.
short-term goal?
No.
Not sure.
That's
Yeah.
important for me to know to help you grow. But the one question that any interviewee can ask an interviewer is, how can I help you? What kind of value can I bring? What do you need help in? Because if you notice in our interview, I ask you a lot of questions. And I always ask, how can I help you grow? How can I help you develop your career? What do you want to do in this company? But no one's ever asked what I needed help from, what the company needed help from. If someone just asked that, then I would know they put the company really in the front of their mind. But no one's asked that.
So can I ask this now? Maybe.
No, it's okay. You're hired now, Heidy. It's okay. You don't have to worry about that.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to ask, so it's been around just a month. It feels a lot longer than a month for me. I don't know about you. I just want to see what was your favorite moment, or what's the best lesson you've learned in that past month? Or, if you don't have a favorite, what's your worst moment?
I think the favorite moment is the point when I get to do a music video for him. It's filming some quite famous artists like Moon or Kiri. So I think in that experience, that's my first time of really operating a camera. And I feel like how I really want to excel this technique, or I feel like maybe I could do better, and I'm really craving for that. I think this kind of it makes me feel like I was living. Like, it's not like I was in biotech and I was doing some droppings and I feel like, I was just doing that. And at that point, I feel like I was really in passion in this field. And I think it also kind of a boosting of me to do this in more, I was more guaranteed to wanting to do this.
So it basically reinforced your mindset that this is what you want to do, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell people about a spec ad that we were going to do. So I think for one of the weeks we were teaching at Shatin College. Yeah. We were teaching a filmmaking workshop to kids around 16 years old. And in that workshop, at the end of it, they did a lot of exercises, from Foley exercises to scene recreations to making their own spec ad. And when they were making their own spec ad and doing the exercises, I saw that you and John and Sean and everybody else seemed really engaged, like as if you wanted to do it, because you've never done anything like that. So I thought, okay, next week we have a bit of time. Let's take some time off from our normal projects and let's do something a little bit more fun so you guys can learn a little bit. And you did that. We separated you guys into a group of four, right? Yeah, group of four, to make a spec ad, a fake advertisement for VLT, Vita Lemon Tea Sparkling Edition. How was that?
So in that experience, I was the director of productions, and
Director of photography.
Director of photography. And then the reason why I was in that, it's just because all of my other teammates already chose a position, maybe an art director, and then that was the only thing left.
No, sorry, Heidy, that's a lie.
Yeah,
you chose that position. I was there.
There's director and also director of photography.
Correct.
Yeah,
but you chose
left.
Being a DP.
Yeah, because I always thought that director was the biggest person in the productions, and he had to make a lot of decisions. But I do not know anything about DOP actually. So, and then I choose that, and then it turns out the DOP actually had to make all the key decisions in the in the whole productions, including maybe the lightings, maybe how the camera goes, and maybe what equipment will need it. And then I have actually not much idea about. I mean, I do not have good technical skills, and I do not have lighting skills, so I could not really do it actually. So at last, it turns out, I mean, the outcome was bad. I mean, we could not actually film anything because of the time constraint, and also after we get to the harbor front, there's a guy saying we could not film there, and there's a lot of problems in the middle, and then at last we did not film anything. The outcome was bad, but it was a really good experience. Like I could know more about what a DOP really needs to do and how pressurized he is when he was figuring out what equipment he really needs. So I think the experience was good, yeah.
I think it also gave you a better insight because sometimes you come to the studio early in the morning for a shoot, right? We'll pack the equipment and
Yeah.
you'll just see me, let's pack this. And then now you know there's a reason why I pack specific lights. We don't just bring everything. There's a reason why every light is there. And one thing you didn't do during that exercise is you stopped asking questions. If only you asked what a DOP does, what is involved, then you would have known or be a little bit clear. But I assume that you misunderstood
Yeah,
the
I
role for
misunderstood.
camera operator, right?
Yeah, because I thought I knew, but
Yeah.
I don't.
But at the end of that exercise, so for everyone's reference, that exercise, you didn't actually film anything. It went pretty bad towards the end. We had to stop shooting and then just come back to the studio and reflect. But I told you guys, I was very proud of you guys because even though you didn't film anything, you learned a lot about all the different roles within a production company. And it helped you realize how important communication was amongst the team, right? Because normally I am the one sort of leading all the conversation between you and John and Sean about the equipment setup, about the script, about the concept. But when I just gave it to you guys to handle it, there was no clear communication and no clear sort of decision maker.
Yeah.
So now you know sort of the importance of that if you ever want to do your own project. If I put you on a project to be in charge of, you know, okay, I cannot just do it and assume other people understand.
Yeah, I think it's very different in terms of leading someone or being led. So I was always under someone who teaches me to do this or do that. And when I really had to take the back rows, I think I could not really do it right in this stage. But I really think if I really had the ability to do that, I would really appreciate myself, and I would be very glad. So I was working towards it also. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I think maybe down the line we'll do more exercises like that because, like I said, I think the best way to learn is to be hands-on, to make the mistakes, and I think it's great.
Yeah.
So that's all the questions I have for you. Do you have any questions you might want to ask me?
Yeah. So yeah, I had a lot of questions actually. So the first one is about EuCan competitive advantage. So I was always thinking in this field, it's more important to have customer relationship rather than actually what the quality it actually is. So I would say, do you think it's more important to have a competitive advantage, or it's more important to have customer relationship?
I think customer relationship is part of a competitive advantage. I think a lot of our customers, why they come back to us to film different projects and come on retainer, is because they enjoy working with us, not just because we film good work. I think we're very good people to work with. We're very lenient. We're very organized in terms of our concepts. So I think it's part of our competitive advantage to have that good client relationship.
Yeah, because I was actually on my own. I also want to have more clients, or maybe I could take some jobs on my own. So I really want to know, what do you think it's the competitive advantage of EuCan, or is it about the quality, or it's about customer relationship?
I think the competitive advantage of EuCan boils down to maybe three main pillars. I think it's our quality. We try to make every promotional video, every video that we make almost film-like. So it goes beyond your traditional promotional video that looks like a video meant for social media. We wanted it to look like it was meant for the big screen. So we wanted to make it look unique and film-like. Our second competitive advantage is we listen to our clients. We listen to their pain points. We no longer just make a concept because we want to make it. We make a video that helps solve a problem. We're not just making a video for the sake of making a video. If you listen to how we talk to our clients, I will always ask them, why do you want to do this video? What problem are you trying to solve? Because making a video is not a problem. The problem might be I want to get more sales, or I want to improve my brand image, or I want to improve my marketing. And then after that, how do you quantify an improvement? So if they're doing sales from, let's say they're making $1,000 in sales, maybe they want to do $10,000 in sales. How do we get from $1,000 to $10,000? Do we increase the quantity of sales? Do we improve retainers? Basically, it's solving a bigger problem than just making videos and letting the customer or the client realize that. So they value your work more than just a video because you are solving more than a video. And the last thing is customer relationship. I think a lot of clients have been burnt before. By burnt, I mean they've had quite bad experiences with production houses where production houses overpromise and they underdeliver in terms of the timeline, the quality of their work. So I always try to overdeliver. And really, at EuCan, we think the process of making the project is as important as the final project. So I want everyone to be happy from my team, from their team, as we make the project and when they receive it. So it's not just about the final project. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I think it's really important to listen to clients, and this is also a new concept as I get to the EuCan Productions, because I always feel like maybe the DOP has their own vision on how they would film, but what EuCan is different from others is he always think about from the client's perspective. But I also had a question about, because as I know more about what our clients want, maybe they want to have more sales, I would say I would start out what my worth is. Like, I would like to ask, how do you see your worth? Maybe your clients wants to increase their sales, but it's not really capable, like you are only making for a video. Like a video doesn't really make sales, maybe at times. Like for my own experience, maybe I was doing an interview for a startup. I know what the startup wants. Maybe he wants to increase his exposure, but I did a film of like $800 worth. But I mean, all the equipment and maybe what I hire, it's really worth $800, but I do not feel like the outcome I gave them worth $800. So I was asking, how would you see your worth?
So this goes back to like price, cost, and value. What you mentioned was the equipment and like the time cost. That's the cost. That's what it costs for you to make. The price is how much you associate your worth, right? How much you price yourself on top of the cost. The value is how much money you're bringing or how much value you're bringing to your customer. Your question is, how do you determine the worth? Is that the question?
Yeah, kind of the worth or the value, I guess.
Of the work you make, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to do a bit of a role play?
Like how? You mean negotiation?
Not negotiation, but like you can be the client. I will be the production house, and I will just help you discover your value.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's like your value. Like I was making a film. What is the value of my video?
Like a promotional video, let's say.
Yeah.
You don't determine the value. The client determines the value because they are the end user of the video. So you don't determine the value. You can determine the price, but you do not determine the value.
Because when we are trying to determine our price, do we also have to determine our value? Like we're setting price based on what value we can give, right?
Correct. So this depends on the type of client you're working with. If your client is a middle manager, like someone who is an employee, if you're talking to an employee who just needs to get this done, then you give them your price because they don't know the value either. But if you're talking to, let's say, a founder, CEO, high-level manager, or someone that's the owner of a startup, then you can talk about value because they care more about the value than the price. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense, but I always didn't really see what I values, like what I can give my clients, or maybe what my videos could bring them into. Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
Like, because for example, in the previous my shootings, I was trying to do an interview with the director, and what they really want is to promote their brand. But this is also what their brand does. It's about helping people to find their passion, and so I was introducing different types of industries or maybe different types of jobs. And then after I produced my work, and it was a $800 but then after it was posted in the Instagram, maybe it doesn't actually make any exposure, like maybe 8 likes, like 0 shares. So at last, it doesn't really get to the objective. But I think the cost does need $800, but I'm not making any $800 worth. So I was always in doubt of what my value is. Do you get what I mean?
No, can you try to summarize that in one question? Because that was such a long question.
It's like, it's just about maybe sometimes your videos is not making what the clients really opt for. Maybe they opt for sales, but at last you didn't really make any sales for them. Would you feel like you're not worth the price?
So this is very important in the beginning. In the beginning, before we make a video for them, before we even start scripting, you have to ask your client, how many more sales do you want, for example? They'll say, I want 1 million. And you'll ask them, is that realistic? How many are you making now? They'll say 100. So you want 100 to 1 million with a single video in just a few months. Is that realistic to you? And they will say,
I think they will say no.
yeah, they will say no because they will realize they're business people too, right? They will realize that's not reasonable. So in the beginning, then by asking these questions, you make them realize that, okay, that's not a realistic goal. So what should be a realistic goal? And you set the goal together. You're helping them realize that, okay, that goal is unrealistic. So let's set a realistic goal with a realistic timeline. The problem you had was you didn't set that expectation, right? You just did the video and you let them expect the likes and the views because they had no prior expectation as to how much they can get from this video, right? If you said 8 views, 8 likes or something. If in the beginning they only had like 2 views, 2 likes, then you 4x'd their views and their likes, right? So it's about setting groundwork, expectations, and deliverables that are realistic and measurable. Because, for example, you can be like, oh yeah, I got 1 million sales. But then maybe last time before the video, they got 999,000. So it's not that big of an increase. So it's about setting the right expectations so that you can determine the value you bring. If you're asking about how, because you feel like you're not worth it, right? If you don't deliver the results.
Yeah.
How do you know you've delivered results if you don't know the starting point and the end point? It's like running, if you're running on a track, if you're running in a 400-meter track, you know that you've ran 400 meters, right?
Yeah.
But if you're running on the street without your Apple Watch or without your phone or something, you don't know how far you've run. So it's important that you make it quantifiable. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Do you have the experience of not making the word?
Sorry, did I answer your question though?
Yeah. I mean, do you have any experience of you're not making the client's expectations or the expectation you built at first in the beginning?
So have I ever failed to meet an expectation?
Yeah.
After setting an expectation?
Yeah, on your own.
You never.
I
I do not set expectations on my own.
Yeah,
I set expectation with my clients.
Yeah. The expectation you and your clients build, and then you at last cannot meet them. Then
Yes, of course, it happens from time to time, because some things are out of our control, like COVID-19 suddenly hit. So maybe sales drops or. What's important is we acknowledge when we fail. It's important to go back to your client and ask, so how is the project performing? They'll be like, oh, we only got 1,000 views this month. We were aiming for 1,500. It's okay. Then you acknowledge it and you try to figure out with them why. So it's not just like, oh, shoot, okay, never mind, bye. You're not giving up on them. You're trying to help them figure out the problem. Was it because the video is too long? Was it because of something that's out of your control? So it's not about, oh no, I didn't deliver my value. It's about, okay, we didn't achieve it this time. How can we help you do better next time? What has gone wrong, so that even if you don't hire us next time, at least you know with whoever you hire next or whatever project you have next, this is how you can improve. And it's about helping them when you can and not dwelling on the past.
So there's also another question I was asking about your long-term goals or short-term goals of EuCan. So I heard that sometimes you would lose the passion if you constantly do the same thing. Maybe you're constantly doing commercial videos recently. So is there any point you actually lost your passion?
Have I ever lost my passion? I'd say sometimes I would lose interest in a project. For example, I think a while ago we did a long shoot of the same type. And if I find that the project's not meaningful, then I will quickly lose interest in that project. I will think, yeah, it's not that interesting. I don't really want to do it. And then I will just not take those clients on. We are at the point where we can take on clients where we think we can keep our passion and keep our interest in, because I think that's sometimes more important than money. For example, we take on a really boring job, but it pays okay. What I will see is I will see John and Sean and Gigi and Yanis just be bored and be unproductive and lose your passion. And to me, if I see you guys get less excited or lose your passion, that is worse than losing money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So is there any like short-term or long-term goals you're trying to opt for?
We have lots of short-term and long-term goals, actually, from different areas and perspectives as well. Within 10 years, I actually want to film with Coldplay. I wrote that as a someday goal, right? I wasn't joking. We will film with Coldplay, Chris Martin one day in 10 years. That's why, if you notice, we'll film a lot more music-related projects to get our experience, to get network. So that's maybe 5-10 years. But in 2025, what I want to do is, and you don't know this yet, actually, so this is the first time you're hearing it. 2025, I want to launch EuCan Foundations. And this is a foundation where we, let's say, take some of our profits and we make it into, let's say, a scholarship. Because to get to where I am today, I feel like I had lots of support. I had lots of scholarships that helped me. I had diversity scholarship. I had a creative leadership scholarship. And without those scholarships, I would not be here. And I think think about it, there's a lot of kids out there that might not have our opportunities. There could be someone who's facing racism and sexism and financial burden, but that person can be the next Albert Einstein, Thomas Edison, the next Spielberg, but they don't have the resources. They don't have the opportunity. And it's quite sad. And I can relate to that too, because you have to be quite hungry to strive in an environment where it's disadvantageous to you. So I think 2025, I really want to start a foundation where we take some of our profits and we maybe start a scholarship that helps people who are passionate, driven, has a dream, but is limited based on maybe financial reasons, health reasons, or just anything that's in their way. If we can help, it could be money, it could be networking. If we provide them with the right people, right connections, we can help them achieve their goals. I think that's the whole mindset of EuCan, right? I told you with EuCan, we want to change their mindset from EuCans to EuCan, help them realize that. And in EuCan Productions, we try to help our clients realize that vision is possible. So what if we can help kids realize the visions are, their dreams and their passion and their visions can be real too, that you can always achieve what you put your heart into. I think that's meaningful, and I think that's my 2025 goal.
I think that's a really good mindset to always wanting to help people. But I think what always in my mind, or maybe some in Hong Kong people's mind, we would say if we help someone, then probably one day, or maybe like us, or maybe like your employees, you're helping them so much. Maybe they are going to make their own production house. And then at last it would going to be a production house that is competing with you. Then you're trying to actually helping people, but at the same time you're hurting yourself because you're putting giving all your skills to them. So there's a Hong Kong like saying is you don't give all your skills or your technical knowledge to your employees. So what do you think about that?
Do you think I give you everything I can?
I not sure, but I do think you're trying your best to help.
And do you want to crush me in the future when you start your own production company?
Yeah, I don't want to, but if because if I was opting for jobs, maybe it kind of could crush with EuCan. I don't know.
My plan as an employer, as a founder, is not to trap you guys in this company forever. I don't want you guys to stay here forever. With Justin, you haven't even met Justin. Even with Sean and John and the others, my goal is not to keep you here in this company. My goal is to inspire you to go on to do your own things. And whether that clashes with EuCan or not, that doesn't matter to me. My plan is I get more value. I get more value and I get more satisfaction from watching you grow than worrying about the competition that you might bring me. If we compete one day, you know what? I will be so proud of you. I will actually be so proud of you. I'll be like, wow, you've come such a long way from not knowing the difference between DOP and camera op. I would be proud of you. I wouldn't. Why? So you say that if I'm teaching my employees, they're going to hurt me in the future.
I mean, that's a possibility. So we were, some of the times I don't want to teach everything to others. It's also, I kind of feel like this is my competitive advantage, right? Why am I giving out my competitive advantage so like?
Well, there's two ways of looking at this, right? Because I feel like if I'm helping you, you're not going to be, hopefully you feel the passion and the care I put into all you guys. And you take that into consideration. And the other thing is, like I said, one of our competitive advantage is we treat clients with so much respect and so much care that I think it's very hard for you to take a client away from us because we know them in a personal and professional manner. And we've just created a structure and a bond that I think is hard to break on top of the quality that we produce. So I'm not worried about losing the client, and I'm not worried about you stabbing my back if that's what you're asking. Because if you ask me about how to start a production company, I will tell you how. I will give you step-by-step processes. I don't think keeping a secret, because ultimately, if I'm worried about the competition, what is the main worry? That I'll lose money? That I'll lose money from a job? Money's just a number. I just told you I want to inspire kids. So I don't really care about the money. I'm literally giving it away. I don't care about the money. I want to help people. I think that's more important than the monetary amount.
I think that's pretty much what I want to ask.
Did I answer that?
Yeah.
What did you think I would answer?
I think I asked somehow the similar questions before, actually, one time when we were having lunch. So I do predict that answer. You said, I remember you said that you're trying to help others, and then you believe that someone you help, they are going to help back one day. So I think this is also a very good mindset. Yeah. I was just asking to maybe inspire.
Let the audience know. But because if you're with that mindset where you're always worried about keeping your secret or worried about people backstabbing you or being better than you, that's so tiring. As a person, that's so tiring if you're always worried about that, right? If you're worried about, oh, he's going to be better than me one day. Oh, I shouldn't tell him this. Oh, I should hold back. I feel like that's just so tiring to live if that's the mindset you want to go for. And I just don't think it's the right way to live for me.
Then
you don't have any more questions?
I don't have any more questions.
Have you gained more clarity in terms of your own mindset, my mindset, and EuCan in general?
Yeah, of course. I think in terms of there's also doubt in me about helping people some of the times, especially maybe even in academic or it's non-academic. So I think that's pretty much the question I really need to have an answer from. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we jump to academic for a while, in HKUST, everything is curved, right? A lot of the courses are curved. And for people who don't know what curved means, it's basically, it doesn't matter if you get 90%. I got 90% on my Intro to Java course. I got a C because it doesn't matter what you get. You're compared to everybody else in the course. And I think that's quite a toxic way of measuring someone's ability or intelligence, because you're comparing them with everyone else when maybe you should be comparing yourself. So I think maybe it's also the way we've been brought up in the education system to fear other people, right? So if you're doing homework, you don't want to share your homework, your answers, or your notes, your revision notes, right? Because then you're like, oh shoot, they get 91%, I get 90%, now I get a C minus.
Yeah.
But actually, that's why I'm also very, as you know, I'm very passionate about education as well. I've been looking into ways about how people can grade instead of doing a curved grade. In the US or in, I think, Switzerland, somewhere, they take your mark, your final exam, and if you work together as a group, you share that percentage in the final exam. And I thought that's so sweet, because in the real world, if I'm an engineer, I'm not building a bridge myself. I'm not fixing the MTR by myself. You're working as a team. So by giving an overall grade to the team as a whole for the final exam, I think that's brilliant, because what kind of job do you realistically only work by yourself? In the film production, we have PA, we have DP, we have director. In engineers, we have senior engineers and junior engineers and people who actually do the work. So I think, education has shaped us in a way.
I also think that Hong Kong education is also shaping me in who am I. But I would really like to change how it actually looks.
How do you think it's shaped you?
Like just now, because maybe it's also about the curve. Because I feel like I was, because of the how it grades me in terms of the curve. So I was not really willing to help others out. Yeah. So I think this is one of the point. Yeah.
Yeah. So education does really impact your mindset beyond university, right? When you come out, then you become a little bit more selfish. You don't really want to help people. So I think that's why I really want to help kids, because I think it's important that they learn young, because when they grow older and older, their mindset's a little bit more fixed, not as flexible. So I think, yeah.
So I think this is really good project in making EuCan Foundations. So probably I really hope we could see that one day. And maybe I was also involved in this.
Yes.
Maybe.
2025, it will happen.
Yeah.
I will make it happen.
Okay. Let's see.
No, let's see. It will happen. Okay. Yeah. Do you have any more questions?
No.
Okay, then I think we'll wrap it up for this episode. If you enjoyed my conversation with Heidy today, let me know. Let me know if you have any questions. If you want to hear from Heidy more, or people from the team as well, to John, Chan, Chris, Gigi, and remember, you always can. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.